Best-selling author Dave Eggers has a new novel out this week telling the story of two art-obsessed friends over many decades. And there's much more to the author's own story as well. Senior arts correspondent Jeffrey Brown reports from San Francisco for our Arts and Culture series, Canvas.
Bicycle? Yeah, I bike around the Embarcadero a lot.
For Dave Eggers, his latest project began on a bike ride.
I found this giant door open in this pier, and I discovered it was completely empty.
And some thought or light bulb went off.
Yeah, I'm always looking for empty space, I guess, like how do you fill it?
It's perhaps not the thought most would have, but Eggers walked into the 100,000 square foot emptiness of San Francisco's Pier 29 and did what he often does, imagine new ways to allow creativity to flourish, accessible to all.
How do we make the arts free? How do we make them accessible so that they're never exclusive? And that's an obsession. Like, how do you make it so that there's never an economic barrier to being creative? And that's something that you got to fight for that.
This new vision, a project called Art and Water, intended to provide space for arts education and work studios, with the students learning under the tutelage of established artists. The goal, to address one small piece of this expensive city's affordability crisis.
So if you look at a raw space like this, immediately the easiest use is maybe one of the most necessary too, is like to try to put visual artists back in San Francisco.
Eggers himself, now 56, is best known as a writer. His 2000 memoir with the brash title, A Heartbreaking Work of Staggering Genius, was a bestseller and something of a generational sensation. He's written 39 books in all, fiction, nonfiction, works for young readers and children. But early on, he trained as a painter at the University of Illinois and still makes art, here screen printing. And his new novel, Contrapposto, centers on a young would-be artist in the Midwest named Cricket, his childhood friend and love interest Olympia, and their adventures together and apart in the art world over decades, into their 70s.
I've been working on this book off and on for 20 years. I mean, it's been in my head since I was in art school myself.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it seemed like a formative experience or something you wanted to address?
Both. But I wanted to sort of write about, a 60-odd year friendship, and that kind of devotion. You don't see it that often in fiction.
The book's title refers to a position of the human figure in art, a counterpose. Think Michelangelo's David. The characters, well, they took shape in Eggers' mind long ago and wouldn't leave.
I got to know Cricket and Olympia so well that I just was transcribing their conversations. I didn't have to write.
That's how you felt?
Oh, it was you're just keeping up with what they're saying in your head. You're not writing anymore for a while. You're just trying to transcribe quickly enough to get it down, because these are just like people I knew for 20 years.
Eggers' own life drawings appear in the novel, an unusual touch for an author. But then much about his own life and work is unusual. He founded his own publishing house, McSweeney's, putting out books, a literary quarterly, The Believer magazine, and more.
This week we are going to start organizing our article.
Perhaps his most important work, youth writing programs. In 2002, he helped start 826 Valencia, a nonprofit after-school program teaching writing skills to children aged 6 to 18. Its success led to the creation of 826 National and a network of youth writing centers across the country and abroad, some 70 in all to date. Eggers credits teachers in his childhood for opening up his world.
So I wanted to give that same experience to these kids, to tell them that their work and their thoughts at this stage in their life are valid and matter, and they're worth writing down and publishing.
And now many of the results, books, are gathered in the year-old International Library of Youth Writing, billed as the first of its kind. Shelves of writing from around the world, photos of young authors, in a warm, cozy space with hidden rooms, a secret Narnian wardrobe passageway.
We thought, okay, it's time to have a library where we display all of these books over the last 20-odd years. And,
which you love to be surrounded by.
Yeah, I was so happy. I mean, every one of these books has dozens of kids that work their butts off to draft after draft, held to professional standards, and all of their thoughts and hopes and fears and everything are contained forever in these really well-made books.
We watched a writing session for 8 to 11-year-olds from around the city.
I just wanted to talk about the facts of an event.
Pencils and paper, even typewriters, no screens.
And we're finding that in this digital age, kids are so desperate to get back to something tactile.
You're seeing that, you're feeling that?
Every day, like, for sure they will use a screen if you put it in front of them. Mm-hmm. But I do think if you give them a better alternative, something really kind of fun, and if you ask them to express themselves in a book that will be made permanent, they will choose the latter.
And why do it when you're a successful writer?
Feeling useful as a writer is not a everyday occurrence. You know, you can spend 18 months, 2 years, or whatever on writing something that you don't know if it's going to come to anything, but you can be, you know, sent into a middle school with 826 and like feel like in 2 hours, boy, you really have an impact.
Some old-fashioned ideas in a fast-changing world, helping kids write books.
I added what you said, put in my own words, and used the support claim.
Helping artists find a way and space to learn and create. Art and Water has a planned opening later this year. Dave Eggers' own new book, Contrapposto, is now out. For the PBS News Hour, I'm Jeffrey Brown in San Francisco.
Support journalism you trust. Support PBS News. Donate now, or even better, start a monthly contribution today.